Yeah, yeah. This is like some Chinese bot like farming you got going on. Yeah. Okay. 15 seconds. Ooh.
And there we go. Hello. Hello, everyone. Uh, Let me just have to. Basically, just going to reshare the post.
Okay.
Come watch. Boom. There we go. There. Okay. So gonna do this, do this, do this. Hello, welcome, folks, to the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. We are down one person this week. Courtney got pulled into a last minute, although not really last minute, but sort of last minute for her 4th of July parade committee meeting. And so she will not be joining us tonight as she is on the parade committee and is unable to get out of that for, various reasons. So
Just the boys.
just us.
Just playing with the boys. Just playing with the boys.
And we got to cut it there so that Kenny Loggins does not come out from wherever he is, the backwoods of, I don't know, Tennessee or whatever.
I don't know.
Or I'm sure it's California or something.
From the probably greatest piece of cinema of all time.
Maybe.
Top Gun is the greatest movie of all time.
Maybe. I usually, like, the last time I saw it, I was like, man, this story's, like, pretty flimsy. Like, there's not a whole lot of actual story to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because I only saw it in bits and pieces growing up. And I never thought, I always thought that there was more movie that I had somehow missed. And no, there wasn't. There really wasn't.
There isn't. It's just a movie about jet fighters.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
An excuse to show jet fighters.
And greased up dudes playing volleyball.
Yep. Yep. I do remember when I was in Scouts, there was a guy that graduated from the Air Force Academy, was in the Air Force or whatever, and, talked about, none of that movie would ever be real. The first time they buzz the tower, they're just out. They would be out. And I was just like, well, yeah, it's a movie.
It's a movie, bro.
Chill. Like, nobody reasonably expects that you would get to buzz the tower in the Air Force. And although a guy my dad went to college with basically stole a plane and flew it cross country to go meet up with his girlfriend. And then, and just, flew the plane out and, I don't know, landed down somewhere. And, they went out, had a bunch of, had a couple of dates over the weekend and everything. And then he flew it back. And he did not get dishonorably discharged for that. So, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It's absurd. Damn. So, So yeah, now we have that. Oh, I still got to write the show intro because I don't know what to put in. We really don't have a whole lot this week.
Better
Uh,
rhyme.
News.
There's got to be stuff we're not thinking of. What else is going
I
on?
mean, I looked. It's not really
Stranger Things comes out.
Oh, that's right. It comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you though, Saviors of Uldum, that trailer needs to be like 2 minutes longer.
I've not watched it.
Just for more of that music.
Care about Hearthstone. My flippin' Blizzard account got hacked again and deleted my account, so I'm all done. I'm not even gonna try to get it back. I don't care. I'm all done with Blizzard. F off.
Do you have an authenticator, or did you have an authenticator?
Yeah. Well, I didn't the first time, and then this time they're like, yeah, you should put an authenticator. I'm like, okay.
Jeez.
So
wow.
No more Blizzard games for me.
Huh.
Unless I make a new account, but I don't see that happening.
Make a new account, roll Alliance. That way you never have any problems.
Nope.
Not that that does anything, because you weren't playing WoW all that much anyway.
Not at all.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I did start to see news about Little Mermaid casting.
Oh my god. Jeez.
Coming out.
Starting to do a Little Mermaid.
Yeah, they're once again. We've been over this argument so many times.
I know. The only thing I'll miss about my Blizzard account is HOTS.
Yep.
But, oh well. Yeah, I'll go back to play League or Dota or something.
We can play more Monster Hunter.
True. But
or you could play Dauntless.
I'm all in on this Teamfight Tactics game.
Wait, what is that? Like some mobile title?
No, it's a League of Legends mode, but it's kind of like its own game. So I don't know. I'll talk about it when I get to.
Okay.
It's kind of like Hearthstone and League of Legends combined.
Okay, so it's kind of like how it's kind of like how Oh, okay. So it's their answer to League, it's their answer to auto chess. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we get started then?
Okie doke.
So, because the news that I have about Jamora, I could certainly use the extra time to work on it. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, let's get this ball rolling, shall we? Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up on episode 148, news about the Spider-Man. Saviors of Uldum got a new trailer, Stranger Things 4, and much, much more on the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. The boys this week repping and bringing you the latest and greatest geeky news of the week.
I am the boys doing the podcast.
Sean Hayes, and with me is one of my exemplary co-hosts, Josh York.
It's me.
It's me, nothing. Josh Hill. Yeah. I'm gonna win.
I already blew my playing with the boys gag in the pre-show.
Yep. So, Courtney is at a 4th of July last-minute 4th of July parade committee meeting tonight, so she is unable to join us, but that's okay. So,
is it?
It's fine.
Yeah, I guess
it's fine. Let's put it. It's fine now that it's not just me and Courtney anymore. So that way, it would have been. Oh. I guess we're just not doing the podcast. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Of course, that was also, we were doing on Saturday mornings at like 8 a.m. Oh, yeah.
I was, when I was in Korea, I was playing in a Roll20 game where I had to get up at like 6 a.m. to play.
I was...
Because I was on the other side, because of the time, like the 12 or 13-hour time difference.
When I was working second shift at Crane, I was trying to get into an online game and basically looking for late night games, and got into one where it started at 1 a.m. and ended at 4 a.m. And was like a weekly game. but it was like I didn't have to go into work until 2:00 in the afternoon.
I worked
so
second shift. Yeah, your whole world gets second shift is such a weird.
I hated it with a fire.
It's a weird life you live when you're second shift.
Yep.
Yeah.
None of those games actually lasted like past 4 or 5 sessions, and then just I don't know. People just stopped showing up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a bit of a light-ish news week. So we are gonna get into it. I do have a lot more news on the 8-Bit Adventures front this week, so that might make up for it. So, just a lot of sort of design changes, we'll say, of stuff. So just to jump in, Courtney watched Into the Spider-Verse this week. She was going to have on Netflix. She was going to do a little small review on it, but I presume we'll hear about it not next week. I will get to that later. But the next time we record the podcast. But yeah, I assume it was good because
it's great.
Yeah,
great movie.
I still need to see it. Movie. I still need to see it at some point. So if it's on Netflix, then I will be able to watch it.
Easy.
Maybe I'll watch it tomorrow morning as I'm working on artwork and stuff. Since it's a day off.
Oh yeah, that's right. Tomorrow's the 4th.
Yeah, tomorrow's the 4th. But yeah. In other Spider-Man news, Spider-Man Far From Home's out. That happened sooner than I thought it was going to.
Kind of snuck up on you. Huh?
It 100%. All these summer movies snuck up on me. I was like, wait a minute.
What else? What other summer movies are there?
I mean, just the fact that like Aladdin, Toy Story 4, Far From Home. There was one more. There was one more that came out that I was like, why? I think it was Detective Pikachu when that came out. I was like, how can it be out already?
Yeah. Well, I remember you're like, it doesn't come out for a couple more months. I'm like, nah, dude, it's like next week.
It's like next week. Yeah. This is what happens when you get old, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just lose all sense of time, and you're just like, no, that's not for another 6 months. Hey, Sean, it's tomorrow. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home, it kind of wraps up the whole Infinity War Endgame arc. I'm gonna go try and see it this weekend.
Nice.
So, yeah. But I've heard really great things about it, and that it kind of goes into a little bit more about Peter's relationship with Tony Stark. So that'll be interesting to see. And I saw there was a joke about, well, I guess, so Endgame spoilers. If you haven't seen it already, earmuffs, please. You don't care.
I started, and I already know what happened.
But there's something about how like every father figure in Peter Parker's life just dies, and so like that's his curse. And so it was just like so the joke was like a bunch of memes were like, of like his favorite, like his enemies, and Peter would just be like, I've always considered you to be a father figure. What are you? Oh, heart attack, died.
That's
so, like
superpower.
Weaponizing it. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm gonna go try and see it this weekend. Cool. See some Mysterio action going on.
Mr. Jake Gyllenhaal, super handsome man.
Yeah. Yep. I never actually knew a whole lot about the Spider-Man villains aside from like the most I knew was Green Goblin and Doc Ock and the Lizard. But like outside of that, like
there's like
I don't
Rhino Man, I don't know.
Yeah, there's the Rhino
guy. There's an electric guy. Sandman, there's an electric guy.
Yeah.
Look at the Me and the Boys meme. Those are all Spider-Man villains.
Yeah.
Who else?
I mean, Kingpin, like, I was always like, oh, like, what's up with Kingpin? And
but he kind of goes between.
I know more about Kingpin from Daredevil than I do Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, more of a Daredevil, and I think Punisher.
I mean, from the animated,
they all those heroes take place are in not Manhattan, but in New York City. So
from the 90s cartoon, I was Kingpin. That's like the big guy that just like crushes that just like grabs onto Spider-Man and crushes him all the time.
Venom's a Spider-Man villain.
Oh, that's right, Venom.
Carnage.
I forgot all about Venom.
The symbiote, basically all the symbiotes.
Yeah. Yep. So
I'm sure there's others.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a Marvel, so it all crosses over.
Yeah. Actually, that's another one. I didn't see Venom. So
I heard it was
with
okay.
with the old Mad Max in there.
Yeah, I heard it was fine.
Yeah, I heard it was better than expected.
Yeah, that's kind of like the Solo movie.
Yeah,
where everyone had like kind of low expectations, but it was like, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, I want more movies like the Solo movie, where it's less about Force users.
Well, I mean, you're gonna get the Mandalorian TV show.
That's true. I am excited for that.
And hopefully you'll get to see Mandalorians kick Jedi butt.
Yeah, because rocket launchers.
They're pretty good at that.
Just rocket launchers everywhere.
Yeah, that's it.
That's my favorite game. That was my favorite Halo mode, is just rocket ball. Which was oddball, but the only weapons available.
I thought you were going to say my
launchers.
favorite game, and I thought you were talking about like Shadows of the Empire on N64.
I did play the Ever Living Daylights out of that game.
I liked that game.
Yeah.
I beat it on a rental, I remember.
Yep.
When I was in 6th grade.
I think I've talked about the debug code for that game, right?
I don't know.
I used to have, I think it was a copy of Electronic Gaming Monthly that used to publish like the big section of all the cheat codes and everything. Yeah. And they had how to do the debug code that the developers put into Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. And it was like you had to push L, R, Z, A, B, X, and Y. And then you had to push like some of the C buttons, and then do like a quarter circle of the C stick left, but only like halfway left, and then you would hear like a boom, and then you would have to do it like a quarter circle to the right, and you would hear like a boom, and then you would have to like spin it the other way, and again not tilt it all the way but only halfway, and you had to do that like 4 or 5 times, and then the debug menu would open, and then it was glorious.
Wow.
Yes, like it was like 16 different button inputs. Yeah, I had to use both hands and my foot to input this sequence, or you had to have a friend, but
wow.
I mean, my brother was never very interested in doing the debug code, so I could never get him to just like, here, Kevin, just hold these buttons, all right? No, I don't want to. Oh, fine, I'll use my foot.
With Max Rendar.
Yeah. Dash Rendar.
Dash Rendar.
Dash Rendar.
Dash Rendar, that's what it is.
I was just like, why are we just not Han Solo for this? Like this entire game.
Basically are.
Yeah.
And you basically have the same ship as the Millennium Falcon, kind of.
Yeah.
You just it's the budget version of Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Which I was fine. I was like, yeah.
I think in the debug menu, like some of the options were like to unlock X-Wings and TIE Fighters for the space battles. And then for the ground missions, it was to unlock like to be an ATST walker or a Wampa. That was always fun. You just be a Wampa and you just like go around slashing everybody. Stormtroopers, all that stuff. But so yeah. Last up in the news, Stranger Things 3 comes out tomorrow on the 4th. So
there you go.
Now I can't remember what I said in the intro. And probably messed it up. But oh well,
ruined it.
Too late. Ruined it. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Looks like they tackle kind of just some of the. I'm a little sad that they show in the trailer of just like, we're growing up. I don't want to just sit in my basement all day and play games. And it's like, oh well, that's what I want to do.
But it's summertime.
Yeah, I mean, starting in 8th grade, I spent all of my summer at camp. And like the whole summer at camp, because it was 6 weeks that we were on staff. So I spent a grand total of like 56 weeks at Camp Chesterfield over the course of my tenure.
My 8th grade, I was working my.
I mean, I was too.
Summer.
Like I was working at camp. That's why I was
mowing the Cheshire Cemetery.
Yep. Dampe the gravekeeper.
That was a great job. You know what? I loved that job.
Nobody bothers you.
12 p.m. No, it was like me and my friends. And we worked for the town of Cheshire, mowing for 3 hours a day.
Yep.
It was perfect when you're 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
It's great.
So, but yeah. So, looks like malls are going to be featured heavily. Looks like I can't remember where the town's name is, but I guess they get their first mall. And so it's all everything's awesome because it's at the mall. And I'm just like, oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts in 2019. Oh.
Yeah. Particularly rural areas.
Yeah. Yeah. Stranger Things 2019, and it's like everything's just gone.
Yeah. Oh,
gone and decrepit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the factories are shut down. There's no mall.
Yeah.
A lot of drugs.
Yeah.
A lot of heroin.
That government contractor pulled out 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And left toxic sludge everywhere. Yeah, that could be the storyline.
Is this Pittsfield? You're just doing Pittsfield now.
Pretty
You're
much.
Just doing Pittsfield.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not familiar with "Let's Go to the Mall."
You know, that was a song in the 80s, wasn't it?
I would not surprise me.
Yeah. It's like
it's our dear friend Recordian in the chat posted that.
Tiffany or one of those teen girl singers from the 80s.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
She said, from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, was it How I Met Your Mother? I think there was she's right. She is right. Yes, now I get it. It was a parody of the 80s.
A parody of Tiffany.
Yes. Yeah.
It's first we do breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah.
Then we do parodies at Tiffany's. Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm stoked for that. I will watch that after Into the Spider-Verse, and probably just binge that over the course of the weekend. I'll have to make sure that Megan doesn't watch it on me.
I'll have to wait till next. I got too much prepping for D&D on Saturday.
Yep. But Josh, maybe some of it will inspire you, like the big John Carpenter monster that they show in the trailer.
Maybe.
I'm so mad that they showed something like that in the trailer.
Why not?
Because something like that's better if people don't know that it's a thing before it starts happening.
Well, maybe there's something crazier.
I mean, well, that's what I figure is they'll use it as like a decoy. You'd be like, oh, there's this grotesque John Carpenter's it thing happening, and it's like that you could just leave it at that, and that would be enough. But now we're gonna push it even further.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the it thing is crawling through the corridor, and all of a sudden it starts convulsing, and then you see the head starts going, and then it opens what little mouth it has, and there's tentacles that spew out, and all of a sudden now mind flayers. Oh
yes.
I'm excited for that game. That's what I want. I want an actual Stranger Things D&D crossover. In Baldur's Gate. That Mike and the gang go through the Upside Down and end up in Baldur's Gate. Yeah.
Oof.
So, yeah, they're dead.
Yeah, no one survives.
No one survives Baldur's Gate. Except Minsk and Boo.
We'll see.
You can't kill Matt Mercer's hamster.
I sure as heck could.
No.
In fact, I will do it in my favorite room.
But Chris Perkins wouldn't even do it.
I'll do it.
You monster.
Unafraid.
I'm gonna tweet about that to them. About is it Jim Zub? I think it's Jim Zub and Matt Mercer. Just be like, my DM's gonna kill Boo. Just because he can.
Hell yeah.
So and then last up, Saviors of Uldum, the latest Hearthstone expansion, released they called it a theatrical trailer. It's really good. They kind of do that not quite fully animated, but basically keyframe animations in a comic style. And it's put to kind of a really close parody of Holding Out for a Hero, and done in a very 80s synthwave Saturday morning cartoon style. It is glorious. And apparently picks up where the last expansion left off, as opposed to being totally separate things. So they're kind of moving in the Magic the Gathering direction of the whole game having this overarching storyline. So basically, all the evil villains have taken over Dalaran and are now, they strapped a bunch of rockets to it and are now flying it around as a giant fortress.
Okay.
And the League of Explorers has come out of retirement to save the day. So we get Sir Finley Murgleton wielding a golden fish and slapping people with it. We've got Reno Jackson doing a Jean-Claude Van Damme split on 2 camels and then flexing, causing explosions.
I hated that card, Reno Jackson.
Yep.
That was annoying.
We have Bran Bronzebeard wielding a whip and riding a Tyrannosaurus. And we have, I think it's either Ellie or Elia. Basically like riding around on a horse and a griffin and wielding all sorts of magical tomes, getting chased by, I forget what they're called, but they're the guys in Uldum that like, they're the faction opposed to the one that you help. And they're like made of obsidian and they're like the big sphinx-like things with the wings.
I hardly remember.
Yeah.
Was that Cataclysm?
That was Cataclysm.
Okay.
That was the one where you do find totally not Indiana Jones. You find Harrison Jones.
Yeah.
And you fight Schnazzies. Which were, like the weird goblins. So. But yeah, I would, if you are at all a fan of any Warcraft stuff, I would definitely go check it out. Once again, it's kind of the thing where it's like, I haven't played Hearthstone in a while.
Are you into card games?
Yeah. I haven't played Hearthstone in a while, but like, I mean, just this trailer got me really excited. I don't know if I'll actually go back and play Hearthstone, but I want to watch this trailer over and over again, and I want it to be an extra 2 minutes long because I want that song to not end. So it's kind of like where a lot of people are with the Warcraft cinematics, where like the cinematics are really good, and they're like, I wish Blizzard just made more cinematics. Because like I'm not really interested in the game anymore, but like I really enjoy watching these. So, yeah. Also, if you're just a fan of synthwave, or just straight up 80s pop, I guess is what Holding Out for a Hero might be. But yeah, it's pretty good. Especially they have a shot in there of just basically Dalaran in silhouette because it's against the sun, just rising up out of the horizon, like being essentially rocketed in, and there's all like the insects, whatever they're called. The insects, Silithids and stuff, all like flying out from it as like swarming all across Uldum. It's a great shot. So yeah. I guess in other news, Mario Maker 2's out. I haven't picked it up yet, but I will do so at some point. Apparently it has like already outsold the first version, like Mario Maker 1. So that is very promising for Nintendo. But yeah, I guess they also did some work on filters, so that way you could actually filter out a lot of like the auto run levels or the trolling levels or the Kaizo stuff. So that way it's not just like, oh, this level looks interesting. Oh, I'm going to die 40,000 times. And instead being like, oh, okay, these are actually well-designed, thoughtfully crafted levels. And interestingly enough, I've actually seen a couple of articles on like that are written by like professional game designers on how to construct good Mario Maker levels. And they're things like, think of a theme. Like, what do you want the theme of your level to be? And it's like, usually like pick a mechanic or a concept or something, and then you build the whole level around that idea. So like, if you want to sit down and say like, I want to make a level about thwomps, the enemies that like they're big blocks and they drop from the sky on top of you. Then it's like, okay, now I've got a theme, and then you work on it so that like you start off with a safe area, then you slowly introduce basic concepts of like, okay, so, it might just be like a thwomp, with not a whole lot of stuff around it. So that way you can get the player accustomed to like, oh, okay, it's a thwomp, and it'll just drop, and you do that. And then you start you ramp up the stuff, like ramp up the action, and there you go.
So basic game design.
Pretty much. But
that teaches you as you go without giving you explicit instructions.
Yep.
Nobody's going to do that. It's Mario Maker. They're going to make ridiculous crap.
Well, actually, the things that I really enjoyed, I loved the guy that remade Mega Man 2
yeah.
in Mario Maker. as well as there was a bunch of really great, interesting series of levels. A lot of really cool ghost house type stuff, because you can use different rooms in there, and like disappearing doors and stuff like that. So, yeah. Especially interested with the whole new catsuit thing, so that you can actually do climbing up vertical things. So that should introduce some new platforming challenges. So yeah, but that pretty much wraps up the news for this week. So why don't we discuss what we've got going on with 8-Bit Adventures? All right, so big thing this past week, did an art stream, and I don't know if anybody saw on the post to say like, hey, I'm fielding suggestions. So I did some artwork of one of our characters in Tales of Jamora, Twixen. Drew him in the town square playing his Gujin, and basically showing off what the Clip Studio Paint, what I'm able to do with that new software. And it is night and day from using Photoshop. I'm able to do so much more with it, and I'm much happier with the work that I'm doing in it.
Nice.
I am going to continue working on that piece, and color versions will be available for patrons to download. But for now, the black and white version will be available to the public. It's currently up on Facebook and Instagram. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out there. And then this week, there's still time for a poll for what game gets played on 8-Bit Adventures Game Night. Currently, Dauntless is beating World of Warcraft by a fairly large margin. So if you want to see me do some questing in Najatar and Mechagon, get in there and vote. Otherwise, I'm just going to be beating the ever-loving daylights out of monsters and taking their stuff.
Yeah, seems good.
With energy guns. Pew, 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 pew. Using various meme builds that are totally off meta, but they're fun to use. Namely, it's called the Iceborne build, which is it is based on a skill called Iceborne, which is when you are under 50% health, you take 30% less damage, and you have 8% lifesteal. And then you combine that with Rage, which is when under 50% health, you gain 25% damage. And Wild Frenzy, which is when under 50% health, you gain 25% attack speed or something ridiculous like that. So the idea is that you spend kind of like the first couple of minutes of the fight letting the monster just beat you up. And then the moment you get under 50% health, you basically Super Saiyan out and just go, Brah! And with the repeaters, which is what I use, which are basically little energy pistols, there's a lot of different ways to get attack speed. So it really is just kind of going full Super Saiyan. And when you get under 50% health and then unload all your various attack speed stuff, it's just pew, 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 pew. Nice. Whereas, other guys using hammers are like, oh, I'm going to do an attack. Oh, I missed. Meanwhile, I've got 8 attacks in. Yeah, it's really fun. And there may be some special guests on that stream, depending on their availability, as it is the 4th, but we'll see. So, yeah. And whether they're comfortable being on stream, because they have expressed some level of anxiety about being on stream and not performing well. And I've said, well, number one, it's more fun if nobody's performing well and making a joke about it. And then number two, I'm really not that great at the game myself. So yeah, I'm not doing any like sub 3 minute hunts on my own. So yeah. As far as Berkshire Bites, we tried to get an episode out this past week. It didn't happen. Schedules are just crazy right now. It's basically the 2-week span in between my birthday and Megan's birthday is particularly absurd because it's 2 birthdays. There's the 4th of July. It's the end of the fiscal year for where I work, so work is completely absurd. But we will be back on our normal schedule, so next week there should be an episode that goes up. So we will probably do the Old Forge, but we might do, if we go somewhere else, we might, talk about something else. So there's a new comic up, still using Clip Studio for that, working out really well. Yeah, I'm interested where to pull this arc, because it's gonna pull it in some weird directions.
I love weird, so that's good.
Yeah. Introducing Krakentoa.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's like all the best parts of Krakens and Ukatoa reference to Critical Role, and the fabled historical volcano Krakatoa. Yeah. So maybe something like Magma Kraken. Because,
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Because why not? It's a video game world. I can do whatever I want, because,
exactly.
None of it's like actual video games. So whatever, man. Whatever. And then if I can get it done, there may be a special Monty PSA comic that's available to the public this week, in addition to the regular patrons only comic. Basically talking about fireworks from the perspective of a dog. I know it's something that's been done to death by cartoonists, but I would be remiss to not do a PSA on behalf of my tiny dog. In short, if you live near me, please don't light off fireworks, or my dog will hate you, because he will. Yeah. Or at least I will, from having to try and essentially talk my dog down from like wanting to destroy everything. So yeah. The big Jamora news. So basically I'm gonna give the website a facelift, and kind of, so right now it's in a weird like photography portfolio blog format that matches the 8-Bit Adventures site, but I'd like to have it be more of like a magazine look, and more based on articles and stuff like that. I'd like to get back into writing more articles for it, and kind of further flesh out the world. So in the coming weeks, be on the lookout for a new website design for that. And I'm currently writing an article on orcs and why are they special in Jamora and what makes them different from other campaign settings, which is to say, why do they throw out all, or how I throw out all conventions that of orcs from other games. So yeah. I read a really interesting article on orcs and like kind of their coded history from like Tolkien, and what the implications were supposed to be for them from the get-go, and then how that's basically bled into like every further incarnation of them, because all D&D fantasy basically came from Tolkien.
Yeah,
pretty much. So and then ways on how to kind of upend that and think about it in different ways. So yeah, basically to give everybody a taste, for one thing, in Jamora, in the Tales of Jamora game, orcs are renowned for having mastery of musical rhythm. Such to the point that bardic colleges will often teach basically like fundamental courses on rhythm using orcish songs to help performers establish rhythm as like one of the fundamental things before working on kind of more I don't want to say advanced concepts, but like essentially like you need to have a good strong foundation of rhythm before you start working on like melody and stuff, and accompaniment and stuff like that. Because if you don't have rhythm, that's kind of bad if you're a musician or performer. Like if you're a musician or a dancer, or perhaps a poet. At least if you're a spoken poet.
You can do whatever you want in poetry.
Okay.
There are no real rules.
some forms of poetry then.
No, poetry is just whatever.
Okay. Yes, Driz. Well, so not necessarily invented rhythm, but they are so orcish performers, orcish sort of music masters are considered masters of rhythm, and a sense of rhythm and heartbeat is kind of a driving force in various clan cultures. So, yeah, it's just a way to take something and kind of put a different spin on it. So yeah, and basically, so the general populace believes everything that you read in like the Monster Manual and the Dungeon Master's Guide and in Tolkien and stuff about orcs to be true. That they're, bloodthirsty, horde forming conquerors bent on destruction and chaos and everything. When in reality, those stories were concocted by seafaring adventurers who were looking to drum up their own exploits, and basically fabricated all this stuff about, oh, well, we defeated these bloodthirsty savages in these lands and conquered, and fought back hundreds of them coming at us. When in reality, it might have been like, oh yeah, it turns out, yeah, we tried to rob them and they got mad, and yeah, we didn't successfully take their stuff. But I'm not going to tell you that because that doesn't make for a good story. So it's like the worldview, or the majority of the worldview of orcs, is based off of pretty much like a couple of lies. And so that's kind of what I thought was an interesting take. And like, it kind of makes sense in that Jamora is supposed to kind of play off of an age of exploration type thing. So that you have these areas where, most common folk don't get to see. And so they're reliant on basically explorers coming back and telling them tales of stuff. And as is the case, explorers are probably going to add some dramatic flair and exaggerate things that they saw to make them seem more heroic. And Driz was saying, reminded of a post he saw about different races might have different preferred preservatives in cooking. Yes, I have seen that as well. And that will be definitely another series that I do, is various cooking techniques and preferred cuisines, because that fascinates me, is just what different cultures would eat. And something that I have thought about before for Jamora, where like, for example, like all the elves live in basically this forest, like heavily forested region. So not a lot of like open farmland for growing wheat. So what would they use to bake like bread and stuff like that? And it's like, oh, well, I mean, a lot of it is oak. So they could cultivate acorns specifically for flour, because you can do acorn flour, or various other nuts to make like a nut flour. So yeah, so that's what they do. Like, they don't have wheat grain and wheat flour, is that, all of their bread is made with like acorn flour, which gives it a distinct flavor and distinct stuff. And a lot of like stuff that you would find in the forest. So lots of herbs, and stuff like fiddleheads, mushrooms, fruits from tended grove orchards. Whereas, like, I mean, let's say in Twillin, where the party is currently, I mean, there's also not a whole lot of usable farmland there, because it's a lot of very wet. So you would look for stuff that grows well in a very wet, cool climate. A lot of fish as part of their daily consumption. Just interesting stuff like that. So, yeah. But things like orc smokehouses are legendary. Gnomes make the best pickles. Elves prefer sun-dried fruit. Yes, I mean, I love that thread. I like all these ideas. I do like the idea of gnomish pickles being the best pickles. Just, it seems weird and awesome like that. But yeah. So, but yeah, new website design. I'll probably be working that over on the weekend. So yeah. And then obviously the you'll still be able to find the podcast episodes and VODs available there. and I might have a sort of better listing of the cast, so I may have to get some sort of headshots for everybody in the cast, even if it's just with their consent, pulling Facebook photos, and then touching them up a little bit.
My photos don't need any touching up.
What I mean by touching up is like grayscaling them, like having everybody's be grayscale.
Why? Why has it got to be grayscale?
Because it's classier. It makes it look classier.
I have 0 classy photos that can be made classy by making it black and white.
Challenge accepted. So
take my photo of me in the hospital with my stitches on my forehead.
Oof.
It
would certainly make it look more dramatic. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
I rolled a 1.
Yeah. You take that photo, you grayscale it, and then you put it to Sound of Silence by Disturbed, and there you go. Super dramatic.
Why the Disturbed one? Gross.
Minor keys. Ugh. Yeah. So, and then of course, Tales of Jamora returns next Friday.
Finally.
Yep, finally indeed. I'm super excited about it.
Jeez, I've been waiting to play.
Yeah. Never again, folks. Never again will we will we do like another essentially month-long break. We will find other stuff to put up on the feed and to live stream and stuff. So, or even if it's just we do a recording as opposed to a live stream, and then we essentially live stream the recording, which I know Critical Role does, and then the cast sits in, and then you have the advantage of the cast is able to then sit in, like, watch it and chat with people watching it live. So maybe something like that. So, all right, now that we got that, let's talk about what we have been doing in Questlog. So, Josh, we talked about Teamfight Tactics a little earlier.
Yes.
Let's get into that.
Yeah, it's a pretty popular game right now. So if you go on Twitch, it's going to be in like the top 5 usually every time.
Yeah.
So what it is it's essentially a mod of League of Legends. League of Legends, big MOBA game. It's been around for a long time. It's super popular. If you don't know what it is,
I've heard 10 years now.
It's been a while.
Like,
maybe longer. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Take me back to grade.
Yeah, so, it feels like League's still new. Somewhat new.
It's
but
still super popular, apparently.
Yeah. I guess that's why it still feels new. But.
So it is, how to explain it? It's kind of like a card game mixed with League of Legends that's kind of like also chess.
Yeah.
So there's a board.
Yep.
And there's 8 players in the game.
Yep.
And it's like round robin style. You keep going against each person. And sometimes there's rounds where you just go against NPCs or creeps.
Okay.
And it's like your first 3 rounds are all against creeps to show you level up, and you have a chance for items to drop off those things. It's all RNG. And every round you'll have 5 new heroes pop up at the bottom of your screen that you can pick from. And what you want to do is pick copies of the same heroes, because the more you get, the more powerful that hero gets, the more duplicates you have of it.
Yeah.
And obviously they get more powerful. And the other thing is each hero has 2 indicators. So it might be something like ninja and assassin, or sorcerer and glacial, or pirate and knight, whatever. And there's all different. All the heroes have like 2 different ones. So what you also want to do is try to match those indicators up, because all your units will get bonuses. Say if you have a bunch of assassins, all your assassins will get like a way more crit damage. Or if you have a bunch of knights, all your heroes will like block more damage. If you have like nobles, whatever, all the nobles get, like, you'll get different benefits and buffs to your little army depending on like matching types of heroes together. And so what you do is, it's a hexagonal board. I don't know, maybe it's like 10 by 10 hexes or something like that. And you'll put down however many heroes you can, and that increase how many heroes you can put down increases over the game,
Mm-hmm.
and you put them down and position them, and then the round will start, and the AI will just automatically fight each other. And there's a lot of RNG, and how you position your heroes and stuff is important, and
Yep.
it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of it. I like. I have to think a lot. There's a lot of strategy.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you go into a game thinking, well, I want to try this build, and the RNG just is not on your side,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you kind of gotta like.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been learning too, and I'm getting a lot better at it. Is just like accepting what heroes come to me, and just basing my build off kind of what I got. So it's kind of like if you've ever played Magic the Gathering in a draft,
Yeah.
where everybody opens a pack, you
Yep.
pick a card, and you pass the pack around, and you keep picking cards.
Yeah.
So you also got to be aware of like what other people in your like the other 8 people are picking, because if everybody's trying to pick a
Yeah.
certain hero, that hero's not going to show up when it's your like every round. Like there's a static number of them available in the
Now
pool.
is so in Magic, there's a strategy known as hate drafting, which is
Yeah.
if there's not necessarily anything in that pack that you particularly want, you can think
Yeah.
about what other people want and then just pick that just so that they can't have it.
You can. So here's the other thing. You're also earning gold every round, and you
Okay.
use that gold to buy your hero. Some heroes cost 1, some cost 2, all the way up to like 5 gold heroes, which are
Okay.
really expensive and really
Yeah.
good. Usually in the early game, you see a lot of 1 and 2 gold heroes, and as like you level up and the rounds increase, you'll see those like better heroes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like the 5 heroes that are on your board,
Yeah.
you can spend 2 gold to refresh your options
Okay.
and get 5 new ones to show up.
Okay.
So it's not like you're stuck with that, but you also got to manage your gold. So also like every 10 gold, you get an extra gold each round. So it's up to
Oh,
50.
interesting. Okay.
So if you have 50 gold in your pool, you get an extra 5 gold on top of that every like to your additional whatever. Say you get 5 gold around already.
Yeah.
You get an additional 5 if you have 50 gold, so you get another 10 gold every round. So that's another thing you got to keep in mind is like, do I want to blow all my gold to refresh and try to find the hero I really need to like really make that one hero strong enough to carry the team for me? Or do I kind of just wait it out and keep it's called econing.
Yeah.
So keep building my econ and making sure I do have the gold when I really do need it. And there's also RNG of like what items drop. So like in League of Legends, like you go back to or a lot of MOBAs, you go back to the base and buy your items for your heroes. This, they drop randomly. So you're praying to the RNG gods for good drops that help, because the items are super powerful. And if you like, I won a game earlier today mostly because I got real lucky with item RNG, and I just stacked one hero with all the items, and she just carried my team for the whole game. It was really good. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of thinking, a lot of strategy. If you like those types of games where you're just always thinking and you have to adapt, and there's even games where I'm not risky enough to do this, but I've been watching a lot of videos and streamers of it. Like they'll sell their whole team like in the mid to late game just because they're not getting the RNG they need to like fill it out the way they want.
Oh, geez.
And they're just seeing, because they'll see other heroes coming up in the pool.
Yeah.
And be like, well, I should just buy these other heroes in the pool and rebuild. Sometimes that's a risky move.
Yeah.
Because particularly in late game, it's like you've already invested so much in building heroes, and it's kind of a gamble to say, well, I'm gonna redo that.
Yeah.
But yeah, game's a lot of fun.
Nice.
I've been the last 3 days. It's like all I've been playing nonstop. And matches take like a half hour, I would say, or more, depending. Oh, there's another part of that, like in items, there's called a carousel round every like 5 or 6 rounds.
Okay.
So you'll fight a bunch of other players and then some creeps, and then there'll be the carousel round, and there'll be like 10 heroes just moving in a circle like a carousel, and each one will have an item equipped to them already. So all your players, you'll have a little avatar on the screen, and depending on your rank, if you're low rank, you'll get to choose first. If you're in first place, you'll get to pick last. But sometimes you all get released at like close to the same time, so it's like you got to move your little character across the screen really quick to like try to get the hero of the item you want.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you get screwed with that, but it's just another little part of it. So that game's a lot of fun. like I said, the last 3 days, that's all I've been playing. And last week during the Steam sale, you mentioned Ghost of a Tale to me. I was
Yes.
like, oh yeah, I've wanted to play that game for a long time. And I was like, I'll see if it's on sale, and it was
Mm-hmm.
for like under $20. So I was like, oh heck yeah, I'm getting that. And that game is a lot of fun too. So basically, you're a little mouse
Yep.
in a medieval world, and um, not like you're a mouse in medieval times with humans. You're like in a miniature medieval world that's like mouse and rat sized, or like little animal sized.
Yeah.
So you're a minstrel, and you get thrown in jail, and your wife is missing, and you're trying to find her. You start in a prison, and it's basically a stealth game. So you're this little mouse, and you're trying to sneak around, and all the guards in the keep are rats. And like one of the first characters you meet is this frog who's chained up in a cell near you, and he's like, "Check my chamber pot for something."
Oh
And
no. Oh
so
no.
yeah, so you're like looking around searching for items and keys, and you pick up like different sets of armor and clothing. And I'm at a part right now where I have to disguise myself as a guard, so I'm wearing all armor. And it's like one button you hold will make you sneak around slowly. There's another button you hold, like if you want to really sprint really quick on all fours. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's reminds me of Metal Gear Solid a lot, which is a good for me.
There you go.
It's not like off the
Ghost of
rails
a
good game. I
Tale.
like that. Yeah. Ghost of a Tale. Mm, yeah. So yeah, you're basically sneaking around this castle trying to find clues as to where your wife is.
Yeah.
And there's like you're trying to avoid guards and being spotted, and you can hide in different things. And you're like, if you get spotted, you can run around and go hide in like cabinets and buckets and things to avoid being caught.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun. It's a good stealth game. There's not really any combat, at least not that I've encountered yet. There may be later, but the closest thing is sometimes you throw bottles at guards to knock them out. That's about it.
Nice.
But yeah, that
Nice.
game's a lot of fun. So yeah, I've been playing some fun stuff this past week. No Tales of
Sweet.
Vesperia. I haven't played my Switch just because
Ah.
I was playing Ghost of Tale, and I'm
Yep.
currently addicted to Teamfight Tactics right now.
Yep.
So I'll get back to it for sure. How
I
are
almost
you?
wonder if a game like Teamfight Tactics would be good for Switch.
Mm, maybe you got to be really quick with your mouse and keybinds to like,
Oh, that's true.
because
That's
like
true.
there's also things like sometimes, so when you draft heroes, they'll go onto your bench,
Yeah.
and you only have a certain amount of room on your bench.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like, okay, you'll see what you can draft, and it'll be like, ooh, I want this, but what do I clear off my bench to make room for it? So
Yeah.
you got to be like really, and you only have a limited amount of time between rounds for setup time. So it's like, oh man, you're
Yep.
deciding on refreshing, and or you can spend gold to level up too. Like, oh, do I do that? Do that? Do I switch heroes? Do I draft? So it's like you gotta be pretty quick with your mouse and stuff. So I don't know if you could do that with a controller.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
That'd be hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Um so basically I finished Cadence of Hyrule.
Hey.
Turns out once you essentially beat like the fourth boss, which I did when you and Courtney were over for
I was
birthday
there. I
party.
saw this.
Yep. The base Guitarmos Knights. Yeah, then it's pretty much like you go fight Octavo. And that's an interesting fight where he summons like sort of remnants of all four of his champions during the fight. And then so this is going to be a little spoilery, but probably not surprising, but spoilery, is once you beat Octavo, is then he's like, oh no, I needed those champions to defeat Ganon. What did you do? Of course, it was me, Ganon.
Yeah.
You thought the real enemy was Octavo, but it was me, Dio.
Yes.
Oh, I wish. But yeah, so then what happens is there's a portal to the Dark World opens, and you go into the Dark World, and then you fight through a bunch of Dark World levels. I feel like there might have been like a full blown overworld for the Dark World that I didn't explore because I was just like, I'm just gonna go straight to the end.
Mm.
And yeah, fought Ganon, and that was it. So, yeah, all in all, it's kind of a light game.
Mm.
I think basically like 8 to 10 hours for me. And that's including like a lot of like, how do I get this piece of heart? Wasted my time. So I definitely can see why there's speedrunners that do it in like 20 minutes.
Holy moly.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, it's really good. So especially if you're a Zelda fan or a Curse of the Necrodancer fan, and you have a Nintendo Switch, by all means pick it up. I really hope that they release the soundtrack, but knowing Nintendo, they never will. But I need it on Spotify. I need it. It's really good.
Square Enix released all their soundtracks.
Yeah, Nintendo is notorious for not releasing their soundtracks. Like for Xenoblade Chronicles, the first game, they did release it, but it was in Japan only, and it was like an 8-disc collection. So it's like $120. And I'm like, I need 2 songs.
I'm
like,
really feeling it.
Yeah.
It's Rhine time.
All the time is Rhine time. I'm so sad that they haven't made more use of Rhine in future games. Yeah. I want Rhine of Xenoblade Chronicles to be the Cid of Final Fantasy, where he is in every game up to some degree.
But it's always a different Cid. And every Cid has a different personality.
That's true. I really just want Rhine to be in every game. Even if it doesn't make sense, just put him in every game.
Okay.
Also Ricky. There is no nup on that
gross.
That can come even close to Ricky.
The worst. Part of the reason why I stopped playing.
Oh no, he's the greatest.
No, I can't.
It turns out he's the best fighter.
Ugh, I cannot stand it.
He does all sorts of weird elemental damage, and it scales spectacularly, so it makes him the best character.
Nope.
It's bizarre, and I love it. But yeah, so Cadence of Hyrule, really good. Finished that up, and then I downloaded 8.2 for World of Warcraft. Been playing that, and I'm really enjoying it. You know, it's not by any means like the, oh my god, I gotta play WoW, I gotta get back into Warcraft, I gotta play. But you know, it's like if I want a chill time, you know, I'll log in, I'll, you know, do my quests to help the totally not Jinyu from Pandaria. I forget, I don't even know what their name is. There's some basically like deep sea version of the Jinyu that are that Ajara killed their leader, and they're all sworn to vengeance. They're all sworn to kill her for vengeance.
Everybody needs to kill Ajara, so whatever.
Yeah, and that's why they're like, hey, you guys want to kill Ajara too? Okay, let's be best friends. And then the Rust Bolt Resistance, which are basically cybernetic gnomes. And the guy that is the prince is voiced by whoever does the voice acting for Robin, like from Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go. So all I can think of, like, whenever he's talking, I'm just like, I don't see like the cybernetic gnome prince. I just think like, okay, Robin, I will go do that. Yeah, for Titans Assemble. Yeah, whatever. Like, wait a minute, why did they get Robin and not Cyborg? I mean, that would have been great, but you know. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a nice change of pace from, like, it's giving me. I always, what I get out of Warcraft is having nice little goals to set and then accomplish. And so, yeah, it's a nice way for me to relieve stress when I do that. To set goals and then achieve those goals.
WoW is not a de-stressor for me. Never.
Well, no, you were playing for entirely different reasons.
Playing for either crazy competition or like just crazy progression.
Yeah. No, I'm done.
I was setting goals, but they were like stressful goals to accomplish.
Get that weapon. You're like, I need that elemental, or I need that enhancement shaman axe, or whatever it was.
That was what was the first raid in this expansion?
It was
what was it? The fake god at the bottom, whatever.
Oh, that's right. It was the blood god.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
Whatever. That one.
about. Gahoon!
Cahoon. You know
Yeah.
how many times I ran that flippin' raid and didn't get a weapon drop for my shaman? It's part of the reason I stopped raiding. I
Yeah.
couldn't. I literally was not viable in raid anymore because I couldn't keep up my damage because my weapons were crap and I couldn't get good weapon drops.
Yep.
It was awful.
Yeah. I do kind of like the new system that they have for the Heart of Azeroth, where, as was pointed out on the instance, it's basically glyphs. It's been glyphs 2.0. So it would have been nice had it actually been glyphs, and it would have made inscription relevant again. Yeah, I almost wonder if they just like expanded professions too much too fast, and then we're like, oh no. Yeah, it makes me sad that inscription like is kind of not there.
I was alchemist just so I can make my own potions and flasks and
Yeah,
stuff.
well, it feels like alchemy is like kind of the only relevant crafting profession.
Enchanting is important.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, alchemy and enchanting. Yeah, because like jewel crafting, you have to have a slot that shows up, which may or may not happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Another one, Blizzard.
And then like leatherworking, tailoring, and blacksmithing. I mean,
yeah, they're relevant for
up...
like the first week of raid.
Yeah.
When like the new stuff comes out, and then it's pretty much replaced immediately.
Yeah, it's like leatherworking. The whole purpose is to make drums now, and it's like,
yeah,
like I don't need it. I'm a beastmaster. I always have bloodlust available. Or if you were a mage, well, I don't know why you take leatherworking as a mage, but or a shaman. Like I have heroism.
There's always you're calling it the wrong thing. It's called bloodlust.
That's because I have a Draenei shaman, and it's heroism.
No,
because the Draenei do not get bloodlust.
They should.
I think they should call it just something entirely different from the two of them, and just like make it the same.
No.
Call it like Spirit Frenzy.
No.
Call it Spin to Win. Well, no, that's Warrior.
My boy, that's Whirlwind. In Teamfight Tactics, my boy Garen, Spin to Win. Yeah. He's one of the heroes.
That's this is a little spoilery, but there is a scenario where you save Cairn.
Bane. Or not Bane, yeah, Cairn.
Or no, it is Bane. Oh.
Bane, yeah. I was gonna say, Cairn rip.
That's right. We open a time rift and we go back in time and save Cairn and avoid this whole mess. We save Bane. So playing as Alliance is you get a missive from King Anduin, and he goes like, "Hey, Bane's set to be executed. We got to go save him. He's my bud." So and you and Jaina are like, "Okay, we'll go do it." So you take Matthias Shaw with you, and his job is basically to unlock doors. That's why you bring him, and he spends like the whole time just unlocking doors and chains and stuff. So you fight your way through, basically where you basically go through the same start of the fight to like when you were doing Garrosh, which is like, oh well, okay, they're really hammering the point home then. Like you're breaking back into all this underpart, and then when you get about halfway through, Thrall and Sarfang are there as well, and then you have like a Thrall Jaina moment kind of a thing.
I watched the ending little cinematic.
Yeah.
The Thrall Jaina ship is sailing again.
Well, I mean, Thrall's married.
But he don't care. He's an orc son.
Well, I think his wife would have something to say about it. And let's put it this way. I'm kind of more terrified of Agra than I am of Thrall at this point.
Yeah,
because she is legit. She is legit hero. During that whole fight, Sarfang just spin to win. It was like, no, he's supposed to cleave. He's supposed to cleave, and then it just cleaves everywhere. Like, why did they change it? Nope, just whirlwind everything.
Yeah, fine. I'm fine with that.
I really wish Blizzard leaned into the memes about him, where it was just like, I love where it was just he just winds up and then boom, like all the statues in Pandaria when they do like the big cone of cleaving kind of a thing. But yeah, so we rescue Bane and come back and But yeah, there's a lot of weird jumping back and forth. It's a little disjointed. I'm not sure that I'm
curious how the story is going to end in this stupid expansion.
Yeah.
because there's like maybe a patch left. Well, not
Yeah.
a major patch left after this. There'll be like one more raid tier probably.
Yeah. I
So
have to say, so I am kind of so I'm disappointed like in one thing each from like each of the new zones. So one is for Najatar, they were like, okay, how do we do an underwater zone without putting people underwater because everybody hated Vashj'ir? So like, oh, I know, we'll just have Azhara just like do a whole Moses thing and make the waters part.
yeah,
But we're gonna make all of the sea creatures function the same way that they would function underwater. And I'm like, that's
okay.
not how it works. If you're gonna do that, just put everybody underwater. Like put everybody underwater, and then just like I don't know, have them be under a spell that makes that weighs them down to the bottom of the ocean. Like, and just have it be a graphical effect or something. So that does bother me. It's a minor quibble. The other one for Mechagon, I expected there to be more. It's really small, and there's like one flight path. And I just thought it was going to be more fleshed out, and that it was going to be like really leaning into like the whole cybernetic, like essentially like God, what's the Transformers planet? That's all
Cybertron?
robot. Yeah, that was going to be like Cybertron, and it's not. It's like Junkertown from Overwatch.
That makes sense to me.
So I mean, it makes sense now, but like I don't know. It was the expectation that I had was going to be different. But yeah, basically King Mechagon like is basically on pursuit for cybernetic perfection and basically strips away all shreds of humanity from his subjects, turning them into robotic terminators.
Okay.
He strips away all the emotion, leaving just cold gnome.
So
logic.
he survived the raid?
I don't know. I don't know if he, because I haven't, it's not a raid either, it's a dungeon.
Well, he was a boss in the Zul'Zar raid.
Different gnome.
Oh.
That's Mecha Torque.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, you are forgiven.
Which one is King Mecha whatever? Is he the one in Nomergon?
He is the one in Nomergon. Yeah. I don't know if he survived. Well, he's the one that shows up in the raid. Yeah. I don't know if he survived. King Mechagon is a new sort of boss that they set up for the zone, named after him. And he's like the last boss in basically Operation Mechagon, which is a 5-man dungeon. As far as whether the Gnome King in the Zul'Dazar raid survives, I don't know. Not much has been said about him. So I don't know. I hope he survives. I hope we find him in a chamber in Mechagon, that he was somehow emergency transported there, and that he's all like cybernetic enhanced now.
Maybe they had to upload his brain into a cyber gnome.
That he's more machine than man now.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That will be how Blizzard makes the Alliance the bad guys, is cybernetic gnomes.
Yeah.
Is Gnome Vader.
Also, they were like, this is going to be morally gray on both sides in this expansion.
I didn't buy that for a second. And it became very clear that was not how it was playing out. Yeah. Yeah. No, this is, and that's the thing, is they kept saying like, oh, well, just wait. And everything, and it's basically just been progressing to another Horde revolution.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's even further there at this point, because now it's like, well, now you've got Jaina, you've got Thrall, you've got Saurfang, you've got Bane. I think what would make it interesting though is if it's instead of like we're forming an army to lay siege to a city, is we form an army to defend a city.
Maybe.
So that we do, like, instead of Siege of Orgrimmar, it's Defense of Thunder Bluff.
That might be it.
Yeah.
But we're still going to have to deal with... that can't be the raid, because you got to deal with the old god.
Yeah.
Because basically what's going to happen is you're going to fight Azhara, and she's going to be like, even though I lost, the Heart of Azeroth unsealed him.
Yep. Or whatever, like, yeah. Or something.
That's what they've kind of dug up in the audio files in the game.
Oh, they have they?
That, like, Yeah, it's like something along those lines where it's like when you defeat her, you don't kill her,
Of course not.
and it is yeah, and she's like, ha ha ha, I fooled you. So
Now I kind of
whatever.
just want to be that it's just like some random like Sand Lane or whatever that was like, you thought it was Azar this whole time, but it was me, Dio.
I might,
Resub.
yeah.
Reactivate accounts just for Blood Elf Dio.
Oh no 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 no.
That's monks.
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean that's literally monks. Oh, their punches ability.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. Also, the fact that like Ajara's like, well, I'm not gonna just kill you outright. I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna give you all more chances to pledge to me. And it's like,
Yeah.
why? Like, I get it that she is that the whole point of her is she is so full of herself that she cannot
You're
possibly
so vain.
exactly. But the fact that she's like, oh, I have these armies of the Horde and the Alliance, and I have they're in my domain, and I can literally like just reactivate the Tidestone and cause all the
Drown
oceans
them
to come
all.
crashing down on top of them and kill
Yeah.
them all. But instead, oh, I'm gonna make them swear to me. Meanwhile, we're like, yeah, we're secretly creating portals out of here. So, I mean, of course, here's me thinking now. Like, now would be a good time. Like, now that we have a portal back, now would be a really good time to go contact Velen and take our spaceship with the death laser on it and nuke the site from orbit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. The fact that we didn't already do that with Undercity, like, let's do it to Ajara. Like, that should be how the raid ends. Is that you just phone an airstrike in, and then it's just boom. And once again, Draenei save the day.
Yeah.
Or even better, the Void Elves rip open a portal to Sargeras' prison, and you just throw Ajara in there, and now Illidan fights them both for the rest of
Hilden
eternity.
is just 1v2ing.
Which he can, sure, why not?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
No, then it becomes just a 3-way brawl because Sargeras is like, oh, you failed me, and Ajara's all mad at Sargeras for I don't know whatever, and Illidan's just like, haha.
What's Azara's relation to Sargeras?
So Ajara basically prompted the initial invasion of the Burning Legion into Azeroth
Okay.
because Sargeras tempted her with power.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it was basically the result of that war was all her kingdoms and some sinking beneath the waves, in which then N'Zoth apparently offered her power.
Okay. Okay.
And
Gotcha,
she
gotcha.
accepted it. Although it's weird in that, like, I don't know what the relationship between her and N'Zoth is, because in a new cinematic, we see that, like, there's, like, shadowy tendrils trying to escape kind of a thing. And it seems like Ajara kind of is the one with the power in that dynamic. So I don't know if she, at some point, flipped the script and she's the one now in charge.
I think it's just I think
N'Zoth is still somewhat
trapped and only has limited amount of power.
Yeah.
From where he is, so he helped her.
Yeah.
To help himself.
Yep. So.
Oh, and we already know Ajara may try to screw him over.
100%. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, I'm curious to see how this expansion plays out story-wise.
I will. I'll keep you posted.
I'll see the videos. They pop up on my YouTube feed.
Yep.
When it comes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, they made a mess, I think, of the story.
Kind of a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thought is that, like, Sylvanas may just, like, sacrifice herself to destroy N'Zoth or something like that, or whatever.
No, Sylvanas isn't gonna do anything selfless.
I agree with that sentiment. I do not think. I also think
Sylvanas is trying to do something to make herself, like, immortal.
Invincible.
Like, yeah.
I think would be more interesting is if Bolvar comes back and gets involved or whatever, and then there's a big fight between Bolvar and Sylvanas, and then she becomes the new Lich Queen.
Yeah, and
I think that's
they're using that stupid Shadow Priest dagger too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was the in that cinematic is what's his name? Nathanos
Yeah.
is holding that dagger as they're sailing away from the Alliance fleet.
Yeah.
And it's like 3 Horde ships to like 20 Alliance and Kultiran vessels. And it's like, why can we not catch them? We outnumber them like 7-1. How are we not catching them?
I don't know.
Also, gnomes. How are we not catching it? We have air support. And instead, oh no, a big hole opens up in the ocean. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and what about best demigod and best war chief?
Demigod and War Chief. Oh, yeah. We do see
what's going on with that whole storyline that just kind of stopped.
So
like I know
Sarf. So I think
Vol'jin
it's
went
after
and talked to all like the
yeah
death people and was like, "Hey, did you do this to me?"
Yeah. Did you?
And
Bolvar's
just like Bolvar's like, "Get out of Northrend."
He's just like, I told you all to get out of here. Get out. But we do see Saurfang once again meet it's the Saurfang Zappy Boy buddy cop plot line that we wanted. Yeah. He says that he's going to go off on his own. I can't remember. I think it was to basically go find Thrall or whatever, and that he tells Zakan to go back to Orgrimmar and start collecting support, basically.
I remember that. That was the last patch.
Zakan's like, no, I'm going with you. And he's like, no.
I want to know about Bwonsamdi. Come on.
I want to go see Outland. I want to go see what that place that everybody talks about and when the game was better. Saurfang's like, no, nobody wants to go to Outland. That's why Thrall's there. Nobody wants to go there.
True.
Yeah. Well, if that was really the case, Thrall would be like way up in Blade's Edge Mountains. Or Netherstorm. Nobody wants to go to those places.
Ugh, Netherstorm sucked.
Yep.
Hated that Netherstorm. Yep.
So. Alright, and then and then Dauntless. Is what else I've been playing. Yeah, just more Dauntless. I am kind of reaching a point where I'm starting to kind of hit like the limit. There's only like 2 more monsters that show up. There's not really a whole lot else to do. Aside from like wait for the new season to come out, and then it's just cosmetic stuff that I pick up. So thankfully, there's only maybe like another month or 2 before Iceborne comes out for Monster Hunter.
Oh man.
Yeah. So new stuff with that. So yeah. Including like whole new abilities and everything.
Oh wow.
There's like a new grapple claw that allows you to do new attacks. And basically every weapon now has the capability of firing your slinger with the weapon drawn. Okay. So then to compensate, they gave Sword and Shield new slinger abilities, which are really cool, where it's like you can double fire or like burst fire kind of a thing to make Sword and Shield remain viable. So yeah.
Bit of news: if you play Final Fantasy XIV, the expansion Shadowbringers just came out this week.
Nice.
I kind of fell off from playing it, but
yeah,
I've been keeping track. I may go back to it at some point.
Yeah. So.
Not currently.
Before we head out, a little bit of housekeeping. So next week is my fiance Megan's birthday on Wednesday. So we will not be doing the podcast as she and I will be going out to dinner, and I will be just doing whatever she wants for her birthday. So instead, there may be, depending on the schedule, there may be another stream in place of it, like earlier in the week maybe, or later in the week. It is also a Berkshire Bites week, as well as Tales of Jamora, so the schedule may be a little cramped, but stay tuned. There is a calendar up on 8bitadventures.com that has basically like the upcoming week's stream schedule. I also posted on Facebook, but you can find that stuff right here for the stream viewers. There. 8-bitadventures.com. You can find all that stuff, including comics, podcasts, streams, schedules, all that awesome stuff. So please go check that out. Be sure to follow at facebook.com/8bitadventures, at 8bitadventures on Twitter. If you like all of this content, you want to help support it and support projects like Berkshire Bites that were made possible through patrons' support, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/8bitadventures. If we continue to grow, that'll allow us to basically fully fund like hosting costs and do cool things like open a merch shop so that we can sell merch. And do other things like, be able to fund book printing for books. So our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his awesome work over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. Go check out his latest album. It's got Ashley Birch and Matt Mercer on it.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So with that, we are signing off. So have fun, everyone. Happy gaming and enjoy your pie cake.
Do it.